Going on, everybody? What is going on? The catch fam. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had a great Sunday. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2024 fantasy football mock draft with you guys. With the catch fam hopping into a 12-team full PPR mock tonight. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and 2 flex spots. Be rolling with 5 bench spots. Got a lot of preseason action over the last couple of days. Capped off week 2 of the preseason with little Stetson Bennett, Zach Wilson special. Two games today. So a little bit more to break down today. Lots of reactions, lots of overreactions. It's that time of year, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to throw together some beautiful fantasy football squads. We've got 1 spot left. The link for tonight's mock is live on Discord. And if someone doesn't take it in time, I will go ahead and drop it in the YouTube chat for you guys as well. And there we go. Pete's in the house. What's up, man?
Not much. Pair of games today. We've done a lot of talking about all the preseason stuff. So yeah, fun ending to a horrible Cowboys-Rams game. And I didn't really watch the Broncos. I just heard everybody freaking out over Bo Nix against, the 15th string starters or whatever.
All I know is either Bo Nix or Zach Wilson season is upon us, and they are the 2 best quarterbacks. Best quarterback room in the NFL. That's all I have to say. Maybe behind Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy,
True.
to be fair.
True.
All right, we got a full house, so let's kick this thing off, sending out the final warnings. And whether you're ready or not, we're hopping into a live 2024 fantasy football mock draft. Let's do it. All right, yeah. In terms of the games today, I'll do what I've done for every game. We'll go ahead and go through everything, all the stats, and let me make this draft pick, and I'll get that pulled up. And of course, in the chat, if wow, Brees Hall at the 1-1 tonight. If there's anything that you guys want to go over, whether it's today's game, the past couple games, whatever it may be, let us know as well. And we'll get rocking and rolling, and let us know in the chat what you guys think about Brees Hall at the 1.1 tonight.
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I definitely completely warmed up to Brees Hall at like the 1.4, the 1.5, the 1.6. I'm okay with Bijan at any of those spots too. I've mentioned this. 1.1 is definitely interesting. But I always also say, like, in the first round, most important things to determine, are you going to go running back or wide receiver? And who is the primary running back or wide receiver that you want to target? Whoever it is, go out and get that guy. So let's see here. Bo Nix, 15 to 21, 125 yards at Tutty. Zach Wilson, 10 to 13, 117 yards, 0 touchdowns, no picks for either of those guys. Jared Stidham, 4 of 7, 37 yards, and a pick. Let's not have any reaction to the Broncos quarterback battle until we get more reps out there. But something about Bo Nix and Zach Wilson, I think, is awesome at the same time. I love me a good, crappy quarterback battle. I love me some good backup quarterbacks as well. All right, Audric Estime, 10 touches, 31 total yards, and a tutty. Jaleel McLaughlin got quite a bit of work, 7 touches, 30 yards. Not 30
touches.
Yeah, not 30 touches. Blake Watson had a touchdown. Bo Nix added 17 yards on the ground. He seemed to enjoy scrambling around today. Javonte Williams had 4 touches, 15 yards, and 3.8 yards per carry. McLaughlin also had 2 catches for 26 yards. Javonte had a catch. So I think if you've been an Audric Estime fan throughout the offseason, whether it's Dynasty, Best Ball, I think this is probably good. But also, once again, he's not playing against like anyone of great value here. So the most important stat from the Broncos side of things is Courtland Sutton, 17.5 yards per catch, 35 total yards, 2 catches. That's my guy. He actually, I thought he had the highest yard per catch in this game for the Broncos, but he didn't. Blake Watson came in with a 33-yard grab, and that was his only catch. So It's actually Blake Watson, but shout out to Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mims had a touchdown. He caught that touchdown from Bo Nix. It was good to see Tim Patrick play. Josh Reynolds had a catch. Greg Dulcich, for the Greg Dulcich truthers, he did have a catch in this game too. And Lil Jordan Humphrey, one of my favorite names ever, NFL, played in this game too for the Broncos. In terms of the Colts, Anthony Richardson was 2 of 4, 25 total yards. He ran the ball once for 1 total yard. So nothing to really look at there, in my opinion. The backup quarterback spots for the Colts, you would assume, are going to be Sam Ehlinger and Joe Flacco, but we also saw Jason Bean and Kadon Slavis get involved too. But really, nobody did anything. Wow, look at the running backs gone consistently when we draft with this community. I mean, it's just tough to go double hero if you draft from the 1.1 or the 1.2. I mean, I guess
bad. That's bad. I don't think it's ever been that bad. That's got to be the most running backs we've ever taken.
I think the last mock we did, it was like this. Yeah, I mean, I got so used to going like, if you want, if you go C-Mac at the 1-1, 1-2, like you can turn around and get Henry, A-Chain, or Pacheco. But like, and I talked about this early in the offseason, like these guys are, especially Henry, I don't think you're going to be able to get them come end of August. And the guy I'm really sad about is Pacheco, because like that's my backup plan. But I get it. And yeah, I was like, I guess I go Adams there, but this will really put my love for Rachaad White to the test. It's like, do I go White at the 3-2? Go Josh Jacobs? Do I take another wide receiver? Let's go Chris Olave. I still think Olave and Nico Collins too high values for me to pass up there, but I'm okay with taking Rachaad White there too. All right, going back to the stats here. For the Colts at running back, I mean, JT had 2 touches, the next nothing with them. We're not going to worry about Richardson or JT, I don't think. Evan Hool had a touchdown. Tyler Goodson had a touchdown. And Evan Hool had the most touches in this game, but just 16 yards off of 8 carries. And kind of, I think a lot of people want to try and figure out who's going to be the handcuff to Jonathan Taylor. And hard to say right now. And in terms of here's like when people like talk about Jelani Woods being a tight end sleeper for the Colts. Will Mallory had 2 catches. Mo Alley Cox had a catch. Jelani Woods had a catch. And that leaves us with no answers whatsoever. Laquan Treadmill and now we're going back to wide receivers. I mean, there's just 3 tight ends involved today, is my point. I don't know why the Colts do this. But and is Kylan Granson a tight end? I don't even. Yeah, because he had a catch too.
I'm not versed in
I know
90 men on 32 teams.
Hold on, I want to double check. It's just the Colts have so many tight ends. Yeah, Kylan Granson is also a tight end. So 4 tight ends caught at least 1 pass today, and I mean, I know it's just 1 preseason game, but all of them had the same amount of catches as or more as Jelani Woods. So that's why I fear Jelani Woods. In terms of wide receivers, I don't think there's anything to pull from this game whatsoever. Laquan Treadwell caught a touchdown. Like
the fact he still has a job is impressive.
I know. That's kind of scary to me. Going over to the Cowboys, Cooper Rush had a drive, was fine. I think Cooper Rush should be the backup quarterback here. 2 of 3, 44 yards, and then they just let Trey Lance play the rest of the game, which I think is smart.
He was pretty bad.
He was pretty bad. 25 of 41 for 188 yards. He added 44 yards on the ground. I thought he threw a pick, but it says he did not. I mean, they got to see what they have in Trey Lance. But I've never been a Trey Lance guy, so I'm not rooting against him. I'm just not surprised that it didn't go great. I I think Cooper Rush has filled in nicely as a QB2 and looked fine today, although he only threw 3 passes. Lance at least good on the ground, 7.3 yards per carry. Rico Dowdle had 3 touches, 4.7 yards per carry, 14 total yards. Yeah, was not involved in the receiving game. Malik Davis very involved today, 8 touches for 18 yards, not great, 2.2 yards per carry. Added 2 receptions for 20 yards. In terms of receiving work for the Cowboys today, it was a mess. I mean, it's all
that game was just awful.
yeah, it is all over the place. Nobody of value to talk about here. Jalen Tolbert didn't play. He's, I would say, locked in as a wide receiver 3. We'll see what the next preseason game brings for the Cowboys, but this is a thin roster. It's just really thin, which is good if Lamb, Cooks, Tolbert, Ferguson, Dak stay healthy, Dowdle, and Zeke stay healthy. But past that, they're in a tough spot. All right, and the Rams don't want to see anything out of Jimmy Garoppolo, who may or may not even make the roster, I've read. But they let Stetson Bennett play the whole game, and he threw 4 picks. Albeit he didn't really have a rookie season, But yeah, I mean, he struggled. He did put together a game-winning drive, if I'm not mistaken, and ended up throwing 1 touchdown. But let me make this draft pick. I'll go T. Higgins. But yeah, Bennett was 24-38, 224 passing yards, a touchdown, 4 picks, added 1 run for 5 yards on the ground. Boston Scott is on the Rams, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I did not know that. This is my favorite thing about preseason stats is finding out, like, players are on certain teams that I was not aware of. And he was okay, 15 touches, 68 yards, 4.5 yards per carry. Zach Evans got 12 touches, 28 yards, 2.3 yards per carry. So I don't know what to do with that information. It's probably Kyron Blake Corum no matter what. Boston Scott also had 3 catches. I mean, he might make the roster. I will find out. Zach Evans had a 24-yard catch too. Jordan Whittingham, who's been kind of a name coming out of training camp. A lot of you guys have brought him up to me because I love Demarcus Robinson. And Whittingham had 6 catches, 74 yards, 12.3 yards per carry. So definitely not bad. So I think he's going to be a player who makes the roster for sure. And will he beat out Demarcus Robinson? Time will tell. My answer is no. Sam Wiggluz, Wiglusz. I don't know how to say that name. Had 3 catches, 36 total yards, 12 yards per catch. Not bad. Drake Stoops had a couple catches. I don't know who these guys are, though, but worth noting, I guess. And yeah, that's everything. This game was, the final score was 13-12. And I don't really know what to do with a lot of the information from this game, but it was a game that happened. So, all right, let us know what you guys need. Fantasy questions, reactions to the past couple games, fantasy topics, NFL topics. Let's get cracking. J-Dubs, good to see you, my dude. What's up? Easy 3, don't worry. We'll have plenty more coming throughout the offseason. Anti-government says Hollywood, question mark. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood's hurt. Some experts saying he'll be back week 1, maybe week 2. Might be October. Might be into September. We'll find out. I would say right now, especially in best ball formats, I'll still take the dip on Hollywood Brown. That's my guy. So I think I prefer to draft Rashee Rice right now and redraft Xavier Worthy. I like at his ADP. The dip on Hollywood, I think I'm still in on. I still believe in Hollywood this year. So. But he's going to miss time. Best ball, I think it's worth it. Which is more likely when both playing? Mahomes, 5,000 passing yards or 2,000 for CD? Definitely Mahomes. It's just really hard to get a wide receiver to 2,000 receiving yards. And I think they have to be healthy the whole year. I mean, I probably say the same for Mahomes, but um, yeah, I'll go Mahomes in this. I mean, Mahomes did it 2 years ago, and in his first full season, so barely missed the mark in 2021. It's about 850 yards short last year, but I'll say Mahomes. And our government says JJ. We have to really start specifying which JJ we're talking about here. Now I got 2 Studley JJs on the Vikings. Might be McCarthy, might be Jefferson. All right, so Penny Feather specifies on the sleeper chat he's not trolling. He wants Hurts and Mahomes on this team. Worst case scenario, he can trade one of them. That's like a move that your dad makes in your fantasy league. So I think this is realistic, actually. I'm not against it. Chase, good to see you. Cameron, what's up? How you guys doing tonight? Goes Amir White. You don't seem like a Bo Lever, John. You know, I think Bo Nix could surprise. That's about where I stand. But I think anyone could surprise. I mean, for the most part, the rookie quarterback play that we got the last couple of days was not that bad. Not that bad. Except for like Drake May, but that might be the Patriots' fault more than anything. Man, I just talked about buying the Hollywood dip, and he's here.
Are you buying it?
Not with Rashee Rice already on the team. There's a lot of players I actually like right here, but I'll continue to get some depth at running back. Ethan says you should do one on ESPN. I'm not going to lie. If I did a mock on ESPN or Yahoo, I'd be lost. I've seen the ADPs on both of them. I think there's a lot of good value across ESPN and Yahoo, but there's also a lot of weird stuff. I mean, a lot of players that go a lot earlier than other platforms, and I just stick to sleeper because that's what all my leagues are in, and but most of our subscriber base playing. First year of the channel, I consistently did mocks on ESPN, Sleeper, and Yahoo, so I have done it before, but. Chandler, been doing some auction mocks. Keep finding myself landing like 3 studs with C-Mac Lamb and Lamar or Gibbs, Chase, Kelsey. Been trying it out. It's been looking better than the balance way, I think. Yeah. I think that's completely fine. And the big problem is you have to really like try and get a gauge for your league and what most people are going to do. But I don't think there's anything wrong with coming right out the cut and like going after 2 or 3 guys. And then just sitting back and then really trying to build conservatively. And I think that's fine. But also with quarterback, like it depends on the size of the league. Like our auction league for the channel is 10 teams. So for me, like I just let people go in on quarterback and then I kind of sit back and try and get a value, which is not really a secret if you guys look at the past 2. I mean, you guys know I don't really like, even though I'm playing against all you guys, I don't really keep any secrets. Like it's whatever. So I think you can sit back at quarterback, but going in on like 2 running backs and wide receiver, or 2 wide receivers and a running back. And really, honestly, same with tight end. Like I'm not going to spend a ton on Kelsey, just like I wouldn't draft Kelsey in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round in a redraft league, non-auction league. So how trades gun go down in catch leagues, asked Bryce. Like any other league, really. I can't trade draft picks in the redraft leagues, but yeah, I in terms of trades, I'm able to gauge if a trade is egregious enough that it will hurt the league. And if that happens, then I'll cancel it. But we don't do vetoes. And other than that, everyone's just free to trade how they want. Like, you guys are adults, and it's never been an issue. Same thing with the dynasty leagues. Like, there's no vetoes. It's got to be super egregious. And we've never had that issue there's been some stuff in the dynasty league where I look at it, or dynasty leagues, and I'm like, I would not do this, or I think this is stupid, but if they want to do it, that's fine, So, yeah, you guys can trade. Trade is encouraged. Disbanded Brotherhood, what's up? Good to see you. Cats, I feel like we all just have a silent agreement to not take quarterbacks at ADP. So we just take them in the same order 2 rounds past ADP. Yeah. I mean, I think it's as the offseason goes on, we get closer to those actual draft dates. So we might see less of that. There's definitely been some egregious ones in the dynasty leagues. There's one that comes to mind, but I'm not going to bring it up. If they wanted to do it, that's fine. Who do I want to draft? Let's go back to receiver. Give me some JMO in here. I really went in with no strategy tonight. I got 2 Raiders players, for crying out loud.
Raiders.
All right. I mean, wow, we were drafting. Feels like drafting fast tonight. Already in the 9th round. It's actually kind of a tough pick right here. But I'm going to knock tight end out of the way. I'm going to get Fergie on the squad. I like your running back room tonight, Pete. Gibbs, Barkley, Swift.
Me too. I like this team tonight so far.
Yeah,
I got poached one time. Otherwise, I'd love the team.
I'm trying to figure out who. McLaurin?
No. Hollywood.
Where did Hollywood go?
Right in front of me.
At the 7. Dang, at the 7-9. Like, yeah.
I wanted him at the 7-10.
You get Hollywood there. That's a huge value. It's a good fit for Penny Feather's team, being that he went aggressive at quarterback there. Do you all have a gaming console?
I do.
Yeah.
Xbox superiority.
I'm not up to date, but I do agree that Xbox is superior. I don't have the latest console. Any of my free time goes to this. So I always say, like, every year, the spring, it's the least amount of content that I'm going to get the latest console that I never do. But usually I play a little bit of Madden in the spring. It's a lot cheaper to buy it in the spring than when it comes out.
True.
Kat says, I just draft the same team to different tight end over and over. I have noticed that, you go out and get your guys. But it's like this time of year, I mean, that's mainly what we're doing, right?
Damn it.
Are there any fantasy players you have no interest in? Mine include Keenan Allen, Hopkins. Egregious.
Not Rashad White.
I purposely put Rashad White on the thumbnail for today's video for risers and fallers and put him as a faller just to trigger you guys into like thinking that I might be low on Rashad White, but it'll never happen. Now, like I mentioned in the video, both of the 2 running backs behind Rashad White and Bucky Irving, I would say especially Bucky Irving is a riser right now. Like, Bucky Irving looked good in terms of what he did in first preseason game, and then Sean Tucker looked fine as well. So I think those guys look fine, but Rashad White's still the guy for me. So sorry, it's very triggering comment here, but I understand not being in on Keenan Allen, but I didn't like. I mean, Keenan Allen was great last year. It's like really easy to forget. I know this is a completely different situation, but I mean, he was a wide receiver 8 last year, and he averaged like 21.5 fantasy points per game. But now you got, Romadunze, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Swift's going to catch some passes. Completely different situation, but I get being low on Keenan Allen, but I'm like, I still think some shares of Keenan Allen this year is completely fine. Hopkins, I can agree with, though. But to answer your question, I'm not really drafting Nick Chubb. I would rather just draft Jerome Ford. I'm worried about Chubb's return. I'm not really a Malik Neighbors guy at his ADP. I'd be a lot more comfortable. I mean, he has an ankle injury now, goes at the 4.2, but I'd still draft Pittman, Dell, Cooper, Flowers, Higgins, Kirk, Rice. Probably McLaurin, Reed, Pickens all ahead of him. So those would be the two players that immediately come to mind. Oh, gosh, dude, I'm about to make a panic pick. Give me Blake Corum. Time is running out.
Not a bad panic pick.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Other than that,
Brandon Ayuk.
the Ayuk situation's weird. I think he's okay where he goes.
I don't like him.
But it's fair, yeah. I mean, if you're not in this situation, that's fine.
I'm getting slightly worried about CeeDee Lamb too.
Yeah, I have a little bit to worry there. Sure. The other player I don't like, although I think it goes at the 6.9 tonight, is Aaron Jones. When Jones was going before like Swift, Stevenson, Connor, Monty, I really didn't like him in that range, but now he falls a little bit. It's like I think he's okay. And then we had like the report coming out that him and Chandler are like definitely going to split the backfield. I don't know. I feel weird about Aaron Jones this year. Don't ask me why.
Because we didn't run the ball last year.
Yeah. I'm looking at the draft board to see if there's anyone else who stands out. Nick Chubb goes at the 9.4. It's not like, I mean, I'd rather just wait till the 10.1 and get Ford. Yeah, I still stand by that. But like, if you're just gonna draft Nick Chubb and throw him on your IR, and I mean, like Dom gets Chubb tonight, already having 4 running backs. It's like, okay, that's fine. I just don't feel like doing that, which is weird because like I do the same for some other players who might hit IR to start the year, but I'm just not there with Chubb this year. I think the bigger problem is I just am really high on Jerome Ford. So, I don't really love drafting Caleb Williams at his ADP. I mean, his ADP is 102, and there are quarterbacks slated later than that, like Purdy, Lawrence, and Daniels, who all went before him in this draft. So, this draft not the best example, but there's just a lot of names I would draft at quarterback before I would draft Caleb Williams. So, like, and Goff and Tua go after him. Purdy might actually go before him. I might be wrong about that, but actually, I think I am. But like, yeah, I draft Tua, Goff, T-Law before him. And in terms of rookie quarterbacks, I'd rather take a chance on Jaden Daniels. So, Chandler, 6-point passing, 6-point rushing, +2 for each 10 passes completed, +1 for 25-yard, missing a couple, but lots of bonuses.
I can't keep track of all that.
Yeah. When that's Oh, that's in your auction league. So you're saying I mean, yeah, then we should, I guess, go in on a quarterback early. Um, that makes more sense if you want to go get a top tier guy. But at the same time, like if you end up with a Burrow, Love, Kyler, Prescott, I think you're probably still fine. Cats, who is this player? Carlos Washington. Is this a sleeper I don't know about?
Clearly.
Probably. I'll go Pop Douglas here. Switch it up. Albert, hello. I feel like it's kind of important to get a top 10 dude. I mean, how many teams are in the league? Because that was the other point. If it's 12, then you might want to be a little bit more aggressive. For me, in a 10-team league, it's like not that hard. But then teams start going after 2 quarterbacks, maybe you have an issue, right? Millie Mills, what's going on? I went quarterback in first, Mahomes or Allen the last couple of years and always finished top 3. I mean, yeah. If you've gotten Allen in the, 2 out of the last 3 years, and that's been a significant advantage. But also in the last 2 years, you've been able, I mean, literally every year of fantasy football, you're able to get a top 5, top 10 quarterback in late rounds. But you always have an advantage if you can get an Allen or Mahomes or Hurts, Lamar. But I mean, look at last year: Stroud, Purdy, Jordan Love, Jared Goff. Prescott was super undervalued in drafts. He was a QB3. Goff was a QB7. Baker Mayfield was a QB10 for crying out loud. So, but yeah, I mean, if you go aggressive at quarterback, I'm not like against it. It's just not how I personally build teams. Chase, I will say this: he was top 5 or 6 last year. White is still not being drafted as such. 100%. It makes no sense to me. Like every year when we look at, he was the RB4 last year.
He had like the
People,
worst efficiency. That's
I
what,
know.
like, his
That's what
efficiency
I
was
was
horrendous.
about to say. That's what everyone always brings up. But like, does it really matter if he has, I mean, 58 receptions as a rookie, then 64 receptions, 549 receiving yards last year. So that's 8.58 yards per catch. 3.64 yards per carry, 6 running touchdowns. But it's just like, you never see that in fantasy where a player at running back finishes as a top 5 running back and then next year is not valued as at least a second rounder. So that's the part that I find like really interesting. I mean, he goes at the 3.7 tonight, but we see him fall sometimes closer to the beginning of the 4th, and then in like Underdog, like sometimes he falls to like pick 70, which that's a more heavy wide receiver draft and everything, but it's just it's kind of like the Evan Ingram thing where I'm like, I don't understand why Evan Ingram is not valued higher when he's been top 5 at the position 2 years in a row, But hey, if everyone stays out on Rachaad White, I'm good on it too. Except I do think you guys should draft him. I always try to give you guys the best advice, and I think you should. Hopped in some Underdog drafts earlier to buy the dip on Neighbors to get some exposure with the ankle news. He goes in the 2nd round, 3 drafts in a row. Yeah, people still in on him. The other really interesting trend in Underdog is Cooper Kupp. He's going at the beginning of the 2nd round like a lot. And you do see people like stacking him with Marvin Harrison to get that. Because I'm not mistaken, they play week 17. So people are drafting Kupp for that reason, but also people are just drafting Kupp really early, and Neighbors is still going really early in Underdog drafts. So, all right, let's see. All right, team reviews. Let's get it. J Fitness up first. Purdy in the 10th. Say no more. Schultz and Fryermuth. Nice. Walker, Monty Brooks, Eckler. Perfectly fine. Good running back room. Chase, London, Ayuk, Romadunze, Sutton. and Tavion Wicks. It's a good team. Pretty solid head to toe here. Starting Purdy and one of these two tight ends. Walker and Monty. Chase, London. I'll still say you're flexing Ayuk. And really that last flex spot, what I like here is I think you have multiple options. Roma Dunze. Brooks is going to hit your IR, which, by the way, Sleeper is putting players on PUP for the season now. So, like, if you own Brooks in Dynasty, if you own Hawkinson in Dynasty, Nick Chubb, you can put players on IR now, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, Brooks down the stretch, Sutton, Eckler, Wicks, you got all kinds of options in the flex here. So I think this is a nice team. Good work. Taylor Gang says thoughts of the 1-6. Really go double running back with this community, but think it turned out good. Yeah, it's just so hard. You get a guy like Bijan to start, Bijan, Brees Hall, Gibbs, and then you get a player like A-Chain. I mean, it's just like your weekly ceiling is so high. Spears, Charbs, Marshawn Lloyd, Bucky Irving. A lot of handcuffs there, but that's probably okay. Cup, Coop, Allen, Deontay, a great value in the 7th. Josh Downs, still fine as a wide receiver 5. Andrews, a tight end. Burrow, quarterback, solid team. So be starting Burrow, Andrews, Bijan, A-Chain, Cup, Cooper, Allen, Deontay. Tajee, I think, is a great running back to have on the bench. And the rest of these players perfectly fine on the bench. Downs might also be a guy you can throw on the IR by week 1. We'll find out. Maybe not. Maybe so. So, yeah, I think I agree. Looks pretty solid to me. Bryce says, y'all rather Dell and Murray or Allen and Coleman? Is this for Dynasty? If it's Dynasty, it's still Josh Allen. It's just the value of Josh Allen's too high. If it's redraft, I'd probably go Kyler and Dell. 1.1, that was supposed to be Casey Washington. Yeah, I was wondering. Still drafting a sleeper either way, but there are 2 C Washingtons on Falcons. All right, Brees Hall goes with the 1.1. Cats hits us with the polarizing pick. If this was a real draft and I had the 1-2, you guys would say this was collusion. But Brees Hall is at the 1-1 tonight. I mean, I'm okay with this.
No, don't sell. It's a bad pick. It's a bad pick. This is straight up. This is a bad pick.
Pete does not like it.
This is a bad pick at the 1-1. You can't do this.
I probably am still going C-Mac Lamb Hill. But you know there's going to be leagues out there where someone breaks against this tier and takes Hall, Bijan. I think those are the only other 2 that would go that early. I think if they're going to go wide receiver, they still go Lamb Hill before Chase, JJ, or St. Brown. And I've heard the most common name I've heard taken is St. Brown. And I think maybe if we get enough negative news leading up to week 1 about Lamb, you could see some of these guys taken before. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, what I always say is determine, are you going to start your draft with a running back or wide receiver? And determine who your guy is. The 1-1, you have the choice. So usually it's past like the 1-3 where I'm, ideally talking about that, depending on the year. Sometimes there's more of a solidified top 4 or 5. But chat, let us know what you guys think. Yay or nay? And kind of a true hero RB build here. Pollard, Brian Robinson, Jalen Wright, Braylon Allen, and Carlos Washington.
Carlos.
Now Cats has to take Carlos with every.
You can't lock him into 2 picks. He's already got to take Trevor every time. We can't lock him into 2 picks.
Got to take T-Law and Carlos Washington.
Just handcuffing him.
The RB 526 last year in fantasy. T-Law, Kelsey, you're good there. Collins, Waddle, Kirkworthy, B. Tom, probably fine there too. So you're starting T-Law, Kelsey, Hall, Pollard, Hall, and Brian Robinson. Collins, Waddle, Kirkworthy. You got B. Tom in here too. Maybe you start him over Worthy. I don't know. Core roster looks fine. I like Brian Robinson on the bench. Jalen Wright's a good handcuff. Braylon Allen's a good handcuff. Yeah, I mean this team's fine. It's polarizing. It's fine. Cameron at the 1.3. What we put together tonight? Josh Allen, Sam Laporta, say no more. Lamb, Debo, Evans, Ridley, Shaheed, Davis. Pretty good value at wide receiver throughout the draft. Najee, Chase Brown, Gus the Bus, Edwards, Dobbins, locked up that backfield. Gibby, this is your strat. You stick to it. Stick to your guns. Starting Allen, Laporta, Lamb, Debo, Evans, Ridley. You're starting any of these two running backs. Najee and Chase, Najee and Gus. I think to start the year, you'd probably roll Najee and Gus Bus out there. I like Shaheed in the 10th. I actually think Gabe Davis is fine in the 12th too. So it'll do. All right, Chase at the 112. Kyler and Trey, a little stack. JT Cook, Ford, Eli Mitchell. I don't know, man. The buzz right now is you got to draft Jordan Mason. He's the backup.
He's the guy. He
Yeah.
is the guy.
It's the guy to have. Wilson, Smith, Godwin, Curtis Samuel, JSN, Jalen Polk, Josh Palmer. It's a good team. Good depth. Starting Kyler, McBride, JT and Cook, Wilson, Smith, Godwin. You got a lot of options to flex here. I think it'd be Curtis Samuel or JSN to start the year, but Ford's probably an option. I think Polk can definitely be an option, and Palmer can definitely be an option. So it's a nice team. How do you feel about it? I feel good about it if I were you, Chase. I think the first 6 rounds were really solid, and Kyler and Jerome Ford in the 9th and 10th were really nice. I even really like JSN in the 8th too. So W's at the 8. Yeah, I going Jaden Daniels and then a quarterback like Jared Goff, I think is like just a really nice way to go late round quarterback this year. And Kincaid and Hawkinson, I really like that too. We know Hawk. I mean, Hawk's already on the pup list, going to be out the beginning of the year. So if you feel strongly enough about your tight end 1 and your running backs, wide receivers, there's a lot of value here at QB tight end. Kyron, Jalen Warren, Singletary, and Dowdle. St. Brown, DJ Moore, Dell, McLaurin, Watson. Your wide receivers are loaded. We can't let J-Dubs draft wide receiver teams like this. He does it every year, so can't let this happen in the real leagues. But you're starting one of these 2 quarterbacks, Kincaid, Kyron, and then whichever running back you feel is the best here at RB2. St. Brown, DJ Moore, Dell, McLaurin. Watson's on the bench. You got good enough RB2s. I mean, Kyron's really got to hit. Like, Kyron's got to stay healthy and give you that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kyron's the kind of the worst of all the top backs to do a hero build with. I feel like.
Yeah, it's like it.
If he gets hurt, this team is terrible. This team is instantly bad.
Well, I think the receivers, tight end, and quarterback can hold up here.
You're just getting 0 production from your running backs, which hurts.
The ceiling at running back just drops significantly. I mean, like these Warren, Singletary, Dowdle, and some waiver options can get you through, but it's like if you want this to truly be your hero running back, you know. And Kyron, I don't think there's any in between. I think it's either like he's dinged up and it's annoying and it's back and forth, or he's just straight back to like a top 8, top 10 running back next year because he's healthy and it's a Sean McVay system, you know. So I mean, it's like, do you go Pacheco at the 2.5? Do you go Henry? I don't have an issue with it because I don't think we can really make the same argument for Devon Achane right there. It's like the ceiling is super high with Achane and Kyron. There's a little bit of concern with both those guys too. So still a very good team. If CMC's calf lingers, is it a bad pick?
Yes, I would go Bijan if I'm gonna go a back over McCaffrey.
Well, I'm okay if you prefer Hall over Bijan personally. I think that it's a really slim margin between the two. But
I think there's higher upside for Bijan if
fair.
he's like if you're gonna go like max absolute best season first overall pick, it's Bijan as the guy who could take over that. I feel like there's a risk there with Hall to be that number one guy at his absolute best.
It's fair. But I still think I agree in the sense that I'm just going to go C-Mac. I'm not worried about. I mean, we'll have a better understanding close to the beginning of the season, but I am not. My view on C-Mac has not changed in any way. I mean, is there anyone truly? I mean, cats might just be doing this for debate, like,
This
but
is also true.
is there truly anyone worried about Christian McCaffrey right now? I think it's easier to say no as opposed to having the 1.1 and be in drafting in like the next week. Because I can tell you anyone drafting from the 1.1 in a real draft, other than like I think a best ball draft, it's like you're probably going to enter a ton of them. It's just, but drafting one of like your home leagues, whatever, you're at the 1.1. I can see where it's a little, and then he's saying CD holding out. Tyreek is probably shivering somewhere thinking about November. I mean, could be.
And Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old, and if he gets hurt, Brees Hall is not doing anything.
Well, Brees was RB2 last year. So it's going to depend on can you get enough dump offs from
I guess
who it
Ty
is?
God. Yeah, Tyrod.
Yeah, I guess it's Tyrod Taylor.
Okay, it's a little bit. That sways me a little bit.
I mean, I don't know Jordan Travis
He's
or
not gonna play this year.
Andrew
Jordan Travis.
Peasley or Adrian Martinez is. I'm sorry. But last year, I
Okay.
think you could argue that the quarterback play helped Brees Hall, especially at the end of the year, is getting so many dump offs. So
Well, I think people were just didn't care about the Jets. Like if people actually cared about the Jets, you're like, you're not. We're just gonna take Brees Hall out of the game.
yeah,
It'll be one of those.
it's definitely an interesting debate. Time will tell. Yeah, I mean, Cameron makes a good point from going off of last year. He's got the QB, tight end, and wide receiver one on this team.
Except wide receiver one is, like we said, holding out, getting in fights with the guy who's supposed to sign him to a new contract.
Yeah.
And his agent will hold him out for this season.
Yeah, that's I think it'll get resolved one way or another. And I think the IU thing will get resolved, but I can understand if it makes people worried, I guess. Chase, I actually did think about looking up Mason's name. I said, screw it. Fair enough. He was available if you wanted him. The longer that Kansas City functions without bringing in additional competition, the higher I draft Pacheco. Yeah. I mean, hey, look out. Not for Carson Wentz. Jeez, I'm not going to pick that. Look out for Carson Steele. He doesn't even have a picture. But this is the trendy running back on the Chiefs
It's
right now.
Kadarius Toney. What do you mean?
Yeah, Tony. Did Tony didn't get any touches in the preseason game, I don't think. He still got Prince. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is actually like he was never hurt, I don't think. I think he was sick.
He's got PTSD.
That's what it is too. I mean that sucks, but yeah, like I don't think any of these guys are gonna step in and do what Pacheco's capable of doing. I do think Carson Steele is really interesting to monitor. And I do think there's a chance that Prince is the guy over Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but there's a strong chance these are like I mean, that's the thing is probably going to be 3 running backs on this roster, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. And someone will be signed to the practice squad. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a name I'm missing here that would be more likely than the rest, but we'll find out, I guess. I think Carson Steele could end up making this roster. And listen, I am all in on Pacheco. You guys know that. I'll draft Pacheco anywhere in the second round. JT, Barkley, I will still take before Pacheco, and I probably go Henry before Pacheco too, but um and A-Chain, Kyron, like I'm still taking them at times. I really feel like ETN is the back in the second round I have the least confidence in. It was the RB3 last year. Team of the night, I was actually going to go with your team, J Fitness. Purdy, Schultz, good mid-round running backs, good wide receiver depth, good value throughout the whole draft is the main thing. A lot of flexibility at the flex position, no pun intended. So yeah, this was my favorite team of the night. But let's
Okay,
roast.
the actual team of the night now.
There we go. J-Lo and Kittle. Nice. Gibbs, Barkley, Swift. Whew. Trey Benson. I'm a little worried about my boy Trey right now.
He ain't gonna play. I don't need him to play. I don't need him to play.
That's fair.
RB4. It's RB4.
You don't. I'm just saying in general. I'm a little worried. Jonathan Gannon praising Amari DeMarcardo, although I guess
Coach
he's
speak.
hurt.
Coach
speak. But Michael Carter looked like the primary back in the preseason game. Then DJ Dallas and Tony Jones got like just as involved as Trey Benson. So
they're all fighting for roster spots. Trey Benson is making the team. Everybody else, you got to figure out who's you're making the team.
This is fair. I think really all the James Conner truthers right now are in good standing. I think he's like the most undervalued RB1 on a team right now, at least. But I mean, I'm not knocking him on your team. I'm just saying. Diggs, Pittman, Reed, Ladd, Myers, Williams, Burton. Nice. Little 7 wide receiver build over here. So yeah, you're starting Love, Kittle, Gibbs, Barkley, Diggs, Pittman, Reed, and you're flexing the GOAT, DeAndre Swift is what you're doing here. But Ladd, Myers, maybe Mike Williams, Benson, Burton.
Hollywood would have made this team.
Yeah, if you landed Hollywood, who went 1 pick before Ladd, which Ladd is still fine. But
yeah, but like Hollywood really synergizes super well with this team.
Yeah. I mean, Ladd or Watson for that matter, even having Reed, were both just great. I mean, there's still good values at the 7.8 and 7.9, but also just a great value there at the 7.10. But I agree. If you're able to get Hollywood, I really like this team. I don't dislike this team, though. So good draft. All right, while we're at it, let's roast my team. I go Tua in the 12th, Fergie in the 9th, C-Mac, Rachaad White. I mean, I'm sorry, Zamir White. I'm tired. I'm just always thinking about Rachaad White. Raheem Mostert, Chuba, Blake Corum. Good running back room for a hero RB build. Adams, Olave, Higgins, Rice. I was really happy to get Rice at the 5-2, but I guess that's about where he goes. J-Mo and then Pop. So I'm okay with this team. Tua, Fergie, C-Mac, White, Adams, Olave, Higgins, Rice. Good starting roster. I like all the bench running backs. Got some wide receiver depth. Good enough. All right, let's see here. A lot of Breece Hall discussion. Let me get caught up. Maybe Pittman would be my favorite, considering A-Rich takes a step forward in passing volume. I do like Richardson or Pittman where he goes and drafts a lot. I don't have a problem taking Pittman in the 3rd round. So I think at the 4-3, he's.
I almost did. I would have taken Pittman in the 3rd round if Diggs wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I personally maybe like Metcalf and Devonta Smith over Diggs, but I'm still okay with Diggs there. Some people not, but I'm okay with Diggs right there. But yeah, I think Pittman going at the 310 also makes sense, or 311 or 312 for that matter. Such an interesting tier wide receivers, like all the way to like Higgins and Rice, really all the way to McLaurin and Reed. I think there's just so much value in the rounds 3, 4, and 5 at wide receiver that I really want to start dabbling in some more double hero running back teams for that reason. All right, I guess that does it for the night, ladies and gents. Good mock. Anything else that you guys need or want? Go ahead and throw it in the chat real quick. I should be back tomorrow for an underdog draft. Well, plenty of content coming out this week, coming your guys' way again. We got shorts coming out. Pete's been throwing out some must draft players. I'm still grinding out the videos. I'll be recording some off air mock drafts over the next couple of days. So I'll need your guys' help with that. And we'll continue just to get together a ton of streams, videos, and shorts for you guys. So thank you guys for drafting tonight. Pete, I'll let you say bye and we'll get on out of here.
Watch the content. Watch it all. Hit the like button. Yeah, you guys hit the watch the content. We got it coming out every day. You know how it is. I'm tired. It's bedtime. It's late. It's Sunday. Everyone have a good week.
Everyone have the best start to your week possible. All right. Hit the like. Links are down below. Like Pete said, watch the videos, and that'll do. Thank you guys for drafting tonight. We'll be back soon. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And peace.